Good afternoon. Hello, hello. I am here to tell you all about our special event grant program. Another opportunity, like we said when I introduced our last speaker, the money kind of has to happen first before anything else happens. And we have had a special event fund since the inception of the organization. When I started, we incorporated in 1998. So we've got some money available for special event grants. So I'm going to roll through that, and then I'll leave you all with an application for the fund also. So again, just our grant fund matches our mission. So if you say, well, how does the grant fund work? What is the goal? It really matches our mission, and that is to lead, support, and promote the region, creating economic impact for the community and that community pride factor. So when you read through our application, it's going to talk about those very same factors. Are you creating economic impact for your event? Are you just coming in and leaving without, using local vendors and creating that economic impact? Are you positive? If you're an event that is, for lack of a better word, creating some kind of hateful atmosphere, that's probably not the right, thing for our grant event. So it really matches the mission of our organization, those events that we look for. Again, just an overview of us again. We're an independent nonprofit, so our grant fund is limited. We have $40,000, and we are funded just the same as convention and visitors all over the country. So if you say, hey, Destination Madison has the same grant program, we talk. It's very similar. So if you're in a community other than Janesville, you might want to reach out to that destination marketing organization and say, hey, do you have a grant fund similar to what Janesville has? So again, our special event grant fund was established in 1998. It was one of the first things as an organization that was really important to us, is to have that money to, again, start your event. You're a brand new event, you have no seed money. How do we get started? I know there's a couple new events in the room. How the heck do we get started? How do we have that money to market the event? And a lot of times you might have enough to get the event started, but nothing to market. So that's where we can be with our special event fund to help with that marketing. Again, it was established to help attractions and events and organizers to bring people from outside of Rock County. Because we are funded by room tax law, it doesn't make sense, and hotels pay for our funding. Hotel room tax pays for the convention and visitor budget. It doesn't make sense for us to market inside Rock County because you're not going to be bringing anybody new into the area. Also, many of your events, people are going to have word of mouth. They've heard of your event before. Using our funds to reach outside of Rock County is just going to grow that base of your attendees. And we want you to encourage overnight stays. If you're a one-day event, you're like, oh, how can I encourage overnight stays? How about a class ahead of time? Let's say you were a run walk. What if you brought in a well-known trainer the day before and had him come and do a presentation the night before about gearing up or getting ready for running? Let's say you are a farm-to-table dinner. What if you had a local produce like a Skelly's Farm Market do a tour the day before or the day after? Let's say you're a large gala fundraiser to help, I'm going to pick on House of Mercy. Let's say you did tours for people before or after to see the house, what it's actually set up like. So how can you extend your event or do those things that help create overnight stays or partner? That's why we're all in this room together. What if your event, you're like, oh no, my event is the same weekend as this other event. How can you partner? The rodeo is here this weekend. How do I partner with, the rodeo, and is my gala themed? They're done at, 3 o'clock and my gala is at 5. What if I had a Western theme and we literally brought the crowd from the rodeo to my event? So think about how you can create overnight stays through partnership or extending your event. And again, are you creating positive economic impact? Are you losing local vendors? If you have a big event that requires food, and I know Tim was just presenting in this room about those food vendors, use local people instead of going out of town, and that's going to make us much more appealing in that request for those grant funds. And since 1998, we've given over $350,000 in grant funds. So we maximize that. We say each year we have an initial pot of $40,000. If our budget is trending ahead of time, we'll add more money to it. We've had years where we're putting extra $10,000 in because, again, our goal, it's a nonprofit, at the end of the year, we want to spend everything we have and give it out to you guys and get that marketing going and create that economic impact. So we've given away over $350,000 in grant funds, and that's just our tourism marketing grant fund. We've done other little pocket grants for, let's say, photography and videography. This year we're giving away grants for people to get richer photography for their activities. So always check our website, give us a call, follow us on social media. You'll find out about other grant opportunities in addition to this one. Qualifying projects. It has to be our special event fund. Obviously, it has to be an event. If you are fundraising to add a new staff person or build an additional building, that's not right for this grant fund. There's other great resources that you probably heard about in the session prior, but you need to be that special event. It can be for development of your marketing materials for the event. It can be for your posters. Now, if you're doing posters or flyers and you know a percentage is in Rock County, we're going to ask you, what percentage are you mailing outside of Rock County? But you can use it for posters, flyers, promotional materials, ad buys and campaigns. We have great relationships with markets outside of Rock County. We have permanent placement ads in the Rockford Register-Star every Friday in their Go section. Janesville's got a page. So you are looking to do your ad buys, we can help you and pair that together and get better pricing. We have great relationship with Northern Illinois Public Radio. So we can help you find those advertising and work with you. And then we also, if your event is a sporting event or a meeting and conference, that will also qualify. So if you're having a conference on a medical conference, a farmer's market conference, a theater conference, those qualify as special events because they're bringing people into town, they're creating economic impact, they're doing all the things we're looking at. And we've done great success with events like the Town Square Grand Prix has used our marketing funds. So a lot of those big conference sporting events also qualify for this grant fund. So keep that in mind in the other work that you do. Eligibility. Again, we want your goal of your grant is to bring people into the community. So we want groups or organizations with the goal of attracting visitors. If your event is just for people who live in the south part of Janesville, if it's a block party, probably not right for our event. We want events that are bringing people into the area. We also give a strong preference to nonprofit organizations, 501c3 or C6, and we know not everybody's gone through that step yet, and that's a presentation we're going to do for our next symposium is when is it right to get incorporated? When is it right to become a 501c3 or C6? But we do give a strong preference to that. A good example is a retail store is having a sale. That's probably not the right event for us because it's really just creating income for that retail store. So we give a strong preference to nonprofit organizations. We also know that you've kind of gone through that process to be structured in a way that you got your ducks in a row. If you need help with that, if you're like, I think we're a year away from that, just come and talk to us on any of these requirements. But we do give a strong preference to people who have that 501c3 or C6. What we will not fund, if you're an organization that discriminates in some way, we're not going to fund you. And these are just those basic good business practices. We don't fund political organizations. If you're having a political fundraiser for one particular candidate, not the right fit for our grant fund. Still a great event. We can help you find your venue. We can do other things. But it's not something we're going to give funds away because then we're opening a door to use up all those funds that could be used for other types of events. Building brick and mortar or capital campaigns. Again, if you're raising money for a new wing for your building, that's not quite right for this grant fund. Again, we can help you find a venue, we can help you with social media, but it's not something that qualifies for our grant funds. Organizations that only benefit a few people. If you're having a group come in that's only going to benefit the left-handed knitters or something just super specific, it's an example we like to give. Maybe that's not right because you're just not going to draw that big audience. Now, if you're a niche market and you can draw a lot of people from a far area, but if your event is for 5 people, probably not the right fit. If it's your Tupperware party, it's probably not the right fit. I don't know, do people have Tupperware parties anymore?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Probably not the right fit. Individuals, if it's your birthday party, it's probably not the right fit. You know, invite us, we'll come, we'll have cake, but it's not the right fit for the grant fund. And then anything that's for staffing, operational supplies, if you're raising money to add an admin in your organization or a vice administration position, not quite right for us. We're looking at those community events that bring people in. Again, we can help you find a venue for that, we can help you in other ways, but it's not right for our grant fund. Award consideration. The quality of planning. Do you have your ducks in a row? And we can help you get your ducks in a row if you come to us early. But if we see a grant request that's just not complete, or you don't know, you don't have your venue decided yet, we really want that quality planning to be in place because then you can best utilize the funds. Positive economic impact for a lot of Janesville businesses. Again, choose Janesville vendors. Make sure you're staying in within your community, that's important to us that some of that money is being spread throughout the Janesville community. Application quality. Did you think through it, or did you do it 5 minutes before you needed to turn it in? I encourage people to turn it in about a week ahead of that due date, and I will look at it. There's a full committee that reviews it, and I'm not them, but I can tell you things that have hung people up in the past. So if you turn in your grant a week ahead of time, I'll take my little red pen to it, give it back to you, and let you look at it and see if you're missing components or there's things you need. But don't do it 5 minutes before it's due. And you heard this again from Jacob in his session. Don't do it 5 minutes before it's due. Uniqueness, innovation of the event, and your ability to draw people in. If you're a great new event and you want to draw people in, absolutely you should qualify. If you're an event that's been going on a long time and you're not changing anything, we'd encourage you to change or grow or expand in some way, and that will really help you with it. And then we do want the potential for you to become self-supporting. We know that new events need some grant funds, but once you're 10 or 15 years in, we've encouraged you to build kind of a track record that works. So we won't grant people indefinitely. If you're applying on year 27, maybe it's time you redo your plan and make sure that you're funding your event in other ways. The application process, again, funds are limited. So we encourage people to apply early, and you might apply for the full 5 and get less than that, and that might just be that we were trying to make the pie fit. Again, we'll add to it if we have extra funds, but there are years where we don't have extra funds. This year, I will tell you, we're probably going to add a $10,000 to it because our budget's performing well. You got to coerce the board members that you met today into talking us into that, but I think we'll add another 10 to the fund this year. So our fall round of applications will have a little bit bigger pool of money. We typically review them twice a year. The first round already happened in April, and then our next round is due September, I think it's September 18th. I think I'm missing an 8 on there. But I have applications that'll show you that. Occasionally, we will do a third round of funds in December if we have funds left, particularly for events like we started this Flannel Fest. They didn't quite have their things ready for their February event, but we knew we wanted them funded. So we may occasionally have that third round of grant requests. If you're an early event, wood carvers, I think you're early in the year, you might want to think about getting in that fall round, but if not, we occasionally, our goal is to get all that money out. So if it's November and we have money left, we're going to do a call for other grant requests to get that money out. So we could have all of it done in the first round, or we could have a third round, so I encourage people to apply as early as you can. Recipients must acknowledge us as a sponsor. If we're going to give you, $5,000, we want to be recognized as an in-kind sponsor. So that means including our logo in your materials and giving us the other benefits that sponsors give you. And if you're planning events, I encourage you to use in-kind as much as you can, but honor them with that value. Use their logo and recognize them the same way that you would other things. So we're going to ask you to include our logo and our name where applicable. If it's a social media post that's paid, there isn't room for that. We get that. But we do want to be honored the other way that a donor of that amount would. So again, using our logo and slogan and just recognizing us and what you do, because it gets the word out to other event planners and helps us get that word out. We would like to see your marketing that you're sending out that includes our logo. Not because we're going to criticize or say no, but we might have ideas to help you. We've worked with so many events and organizations. This is our 25th anniversary. We've been working with events 25 years. So we'd love to see your art and your materials before it goes out. Sometimes too, they're going to squish a logo and you didn't know it was supposed to look differently. So we're happy to be that second set of eyes on your materials when they go out. We also need some final detailed reporting, and that's so that I can make sure my ducks are in a row. As organization funded by room tax and following state law, we need to turn in information on all of the grants and information that we give out. So we need that final detailed reporting that tells us how many people did you have. If you had low attendance, that's okay. We've got low attendance today. We get it. We understand. But we do want you to do just some final reporting for us. And we do need actual receipts. We don't give someone a $5,000 check and say, go have a great time. We can either reimburse your vendors or we can reimburse you if you pay your vendors, but we do need to see that detailed reporting just to keep our ducks in a row. What we will offer, help every step of the way. Even if you're not a grant recipient of ours, we're so happy to help you because we want you to succeed. We succeed when you do. So we're going to give you that help every step of the way. If you happen to hear Katie's presentation, and I guess you did because you're not in it now, she's here to help you, just a phone call away to help with all those things. Sue Melton, she wasn't able to join us today on our staff. She's our marketing director. She can help you place those ad buys. She can help you with ad copy. We're here to help you every step of the way. We can help distribute your promotional materials. We do brochure runs once a month to every hotel in Janesville, the coffee shops, the library, a couple of the gas stations, and drop off materials. So if you've got posters and you don't want to schlep them all over town, we're happy to take them out and get them dropped off too. So let us help you distribute your materials and save you some of that manpower. And then a staff liaison in publicity and promotion. If you've never written a press release before, we can help you with that. We can send out your press release for you. We're not going to send out all of your press releases on everything that you do, but if you've got a large event and you need help reaching that media, we're happy to do that. I also do, once a month, I do a spot on NBC 15 at their 4 o'clock news, a live spot, and I can promo about 4 events. And the ones that I promo are the ones I have the most information on. If you've sent us photos and great descriptions and you're on our website, and I've got material to use, then I am more likely to include that in those spots on Channel 15. And again, we can do direct payment to your vendors. If cash flow is an issue for you, and that's really common in your first year, if you're not quite up to speed on that, we can issue those vendor payments directly. We work a lot with people like Lamar for outdoor advertising and billboards. If you get a grant from us and you say, hey, we're working with the CVB, they said, oh, okay, I know what you're going to need. You're going to need this billing in this way. We're going to need to be outside of Rock County. We're going to need X, Y, Z. They're used to working with us and really familiar with what we have to offer. You're included in all of our materials. So when someone gives us an event, whether they're a grant recipient or not, we load it in our database. From there, it goes on our website, and our events page is the most popular part of our website by far. It also goes in our print calendar, which again goes out to all of the hotels, all of the restaurant. It goes in my weekly emails to the hotels. It goes in our weekly podcast. I do a video podcast every week. It goes in our weekly radio spots that are on WCLO. It goes to the Department of Tourism, Travel Wisconsin website. It goes, if Discover Wisconsin is running events that week, it'll go there. So you give us that event, our little spiders are going out and putting it everywhere that they can. So the minute you send us that information, it just goes out. No charge for that. We just want your events to succeed. We also can help you with surveying your event. The most important thing you can do for an ongoing, if you're a one-time event, not as important, but if you're doing this event every year or multiple times a year, surveying your attendees is really important. The things that we want to know is, how did they hear about your event? That tells you if your marketing's working. We like to know, how much did you spend while you're here? That can help you economic impact. Some of your donors or sponsors may want to know, how much economic impact are you creating? We know from the bike race, for example, that those people that are coming down for the bike race are spending average of $100 to $150 a day. So you multiply that by your attendees, and suddenly people start paying attention to your event and giving it some attention. We ask where they're from. We just ask them for a zip code. And then we ask them an open-ended question of, what would you like to share with event organizers? Sometimes it's like, man, I had such a good time, and sometimes it's the line for the porta potty was too long, or your handicapped, accessibility issues weren't quite right. So we can help you. We've got 3 tablets that you'll go out with, just handheld tablet with the survey preloaded. And I said the best place to take surveys is standing in line in the restroom or the food, because you've got a captive audience. You're not interrupting their, they're engaging in the event, but they're just standing there. So we will send those out. We can send volunteers depending on your day and what our bandwidth is for our staff. But we will come out and survey everybody who's at your event. If you're like a theater, for example, everybody's sitting there 5 minutes early, just do a quick survey with them. And go old school and go paper. That's okay too. We walk around with clipboards. Sometimes we have an incentive, like a bag of candy, like, oh, we'd love to give you this mini Snicker bar if you take our survey. Very, very effective, giving them a little something to take the survey. It could be a little tchotchke item, a pen, whatever, but feedback from your attendees is so, so important, because you think you know what's going right and what's going wrong, but until you ask people, you don't. And they like to feel engaged in the event, and you might get a volunteer or a donor, or you never know who you're talking to in that room. So surveying events, so important, and we're going to require it as part of our grant that you do ask attendees about your event. How do we review and give the money away? Because sometimes we have way more applicants than we have money to give away. And we use a matrix. Sandy on our team, who you met at check-in, she's our data girl. We have a pretty big matrix, and we put everyone in. We have a grant committee of 4 board members that reviews them, and they each have to rate each application on the matrix. There's math involved, and we have a conversation afterwards, but there's real math involved that takes the personal out of it and makes sure we're really doing what we're supposed to do. So in our rating system, we say, will it generate overnight stays? Is this a 1-hour pop-up event? Is this a block party? It's not generating overnight stays. And again, it's okay if your event is 1 day, but think about how do you partner with something else? How do you lengthen into the day? How do you make people want to stay and do more in Janesville? It might just be cross-promoting the event that's the next day, and that's okay. But we do think about, do you have that ability to generate overnight stays? And the greater ability to do that, the greater you're going to score in that area of the matrix. And then, will it create direct local economic impact? So are you using local vendors? Are you using them for either on-site things, or are you, are you buying all your food product from a festival or a Hy-Vee or Woodman's or someone locally here in Janesville? We say, what is your estimated attendance? I mean, you're going to want to think about that in your event planning. How many people do you think you're going to bring in for your event? So what is your estimated attendance? And then if you've done your surveying, you're going to really know your economic impact, because you're going to take your attendees by what your survey said they spent. So for the next year, when you're filling this out, you'll go, well, last year we had an economic impact of $20,000 or $200,000, because you'll know from your surveys and your attendance what you've got. How does the community impact, is it positively impacted by your visitors? So are you showcasing a certain part of Janesville? Is your venue Riverside Park, and they're going to see Riverside Park? Is your venue, have a class as part of it? Or are you encouraging people to come back or join your club or organization? Again, how are you having that impact on the community? Is it a one-time or an annual event? One-time events are great. It's okay to have a large anniversary celebration, but we like to see those continued events too, because you're just going to build and grow on your audience. So think about, being an annual event. And then again, the greater the impact, the greater your score is going to be in that part of the matrix. And we know not everybody is going to be a 5 on every area, but think about how this lays out as you're planning your event and thinking about funding. Is there an effective marketing or promotion plan in place? And we recognize that it's hard to be an expert in everything. You know what you're passionate about your event. If you don't have a marketing plan, that's okay. Tell us up front, we need help with your marketing plan. We've had people who come to us and they talk to me ahead of time, that section is blank, and that's okay, because you're saying, we'd like you to develop your marketing plan, and we're happy to do that. But if you do come to us and you've only done one, you say, I'm just going to buy radio, that might not be as much depth as we're looking for in a marketing plan. It's okay to say, I don't know what I'm doing with marketing. We will help you with that. But we do want you to either say that or develop a plan and give some thought to how you're going to spend the money. Because if you ask for the money and haven't thought about how you're going to spend it, that just doesn't get you as high in that matrix. So it's okay to say, I don't know marketing, help us, and we're glad to help you. And again, identify who your target is. You're planning an event. Is it family friendly? Is it young adults? Is it people who are passionate about your product? Is it wood carvers? Is it people who love a particular theater show? Who is your audience? And think about, how are you going to reach them? If it's people who are passionate about a certain subject, is there a trade publication that they subscribe to? If you're doing a water ski show and there's a water ski or a silent sports magazine, you may want to advertise there. So think about your target market and where they're getting their information. If it's young adults, you're going to want to be all over social media and TikTok and whatever's come next that we don't know about. So think about your audience. And then think about lead time too. Again, if your event is September 20th and you're applying in our September grant round, there isn't enough time to do your marketing. So really think about lead time and getting that marketing out. And do you have enough people involved? Do you have enough support for your event? Do you have enough volunteers? Do you have a big enough board? If you're just trying to do a super big event by yourself, while we admire that, you probably need some more help. And again, if you say, I'm looking for more volunteers, I'm looking for board members, we're happy to help you through that process too. But think about, do I have enough people on my team rowing behind this boat to put this event on? And Do you have experience in marketing? If so, let us know. If you don't, that's okay, but say, we need your help, because we're happy to help, but we want to know, which way you're going to go. Do you have a great marketing plan in place, or do you need our help with that? And does it reflect, again, quality planning? Have you thought through all of these aspects? Are you really ready to go with your event? And maybe you're almost there, but you're not, and we're going to encourage you to just wait a year or a period of time before you hold your event. We've had people with great ideas. They're just not ready. They're just not there yet. All of you know that there was a big lineup to get to where you are for those existing events, that you couldn't just start, and you couldn't launch a farmer's market in 4 weeks. Yeah, I was part of the charrette that brought the farmer's market together. It took 2 years before the very first one took place. So you got to have that prior planning in place. And is your promotion plan sound and on target? Again, if you don't have one, that's okay, let us know. We'll work with you, but we all would have to agree that, hey, my promotion plan is solid and ready to go. And do we create a positive image of Janesville? If you are, again, an organization that is somehow negatively based or prejudicial in any way, that's not what we want. We want to promote Janesville as a great place to come and visit. And if somebody comes to us and is with an organization that is not positive in those ways, we're not going to grant those funds, because we're looking to put Janesville in a positive light. Because when one event grows, another grows also, and we want that to happen positively in a positive way. So your eligibility checklist, we literally make you check the boxes as you fill out the application. Does it show a favorable impression of Janesville? Will it be seen by out-of-town visitors? Will it generate overnight stays, and will it generate an economic impact? And your economic impact can be lots of different things. It doesn't have to be that you're taking in a ton of money at your event. It can be, are we using local vendors? Are we bringing people to town? So we can help you with that formula too, but we literally want you to kind of check the boxes here. And again, resources for your events. Our whole team is kind of like your whole team, and we're here to help you. So again, our website has an extensive count. We have over 6,000 events in the back end of our website. Sandy manages that data, and we get a lot of eyes on that website. So if you're not familiar with it, check out the website, visit the events. Our calendar events, again, our print calendar, we update it every month. We don't put one out December 31st for the whole year, because it would be wrong, and it wouldn't have so many events that just don't have their dates aren't in place. So we run our new print calendar at the beginning of every month. Again, take them out to the hotels, everything in the area. A lot of walk-in traffic here and at our visitor center. So we're getting that calendar out. Our sales director, Lori Johnson, she's not here today. She was exposed to COVID. That's still out there. So we did not bring her here. We wanted you guys to have knowledge, not COVID. But if she were here, you would get to meet her, and she can help you with specifically looking for venues for your special events, or if you need hotel room blocks for attendees. As our sales director, her goal is to kind of fit you in the right space that you need. So if you know you're going to grow your event, or you're expanding, or you've outgrown the facility you're in, Lori can send out a lead. Instead of you picking up and calling every hotel ballroom and every place, call Lori, say, I need this many square feet, or I need room for this many people, or I need a breakout room for 2 different sessions. She will, with the click of a button, send that to every facility in Janesville, and she will get all of their results back, and she will give it to you in a spreadsheet so that you're not spending that time on the phone. And we even do that for brides. So we have brides who are like, I have called every hotel in Janesville, and we're like, no, don't do that. We will send out that lead to you, to every caterer, every hotel. If you're having trouble getting food for your event, we've got an amazing catering list. Lori will help you with that, and you can just set the phone down and not have to do all of that legwork. Our print materials, if you need materials at your events, our visitor guide, we're going to press on our next guide. Our guide is not dated. We don't do a 2023 guide and then throw what's left away. We reprint on demand. So we've got our visitor guide that you can have at your events. Because it's an undated piece, we don't have a lot of events by ads. That's okay. It's just there to be a resource. Our maps, our brochures, if people are at your event and they say, how do I find my way to Rotary Gardens, because we're all done here and we want to do something else, we can bring you a supply of all of our materials. You've got some samples in the folders that you have. If you need materials at your events, just let us know. We can provide you with maps and visitor guides and restaurant guides. If you're not serving food, or you know people are going to eat their lunch there, but they're going to go out for dinner, we can have restaurant guides. We can have anything that you need at your event. And again, social media. I think you've all met Katie now. does an amazing job. Anything that's in our calendar also gets a shout out on social media. So all of our events are going to be on our Facebook feed and in our Twitter and Instagram. She also does, we do an e-newsletter. I think this last time we had 7,000 subscribers, 7,000 copies of our e-newsletter went out. And we do feature events in there. We're able to do a big feature on 4 events each month. Every event happening that month is listed below with a clickable link to our website listing for your events. So having good materials to us is really important. If you just send us 2 sentences about your event, we're not going to be able to do much with it. If you have photography, and we can hook you up with great photographers, wave Nicodemus at everybody. We need rich photography, we need videos, we need good content, but we'll get it out there for you for free. None of that costs any money. We're happy to get it out there. And again, Katie does a lot with TikTok and YouTube too. If your setup is really cool, if when you set up for the wood carvers, it's really cool to see the things come in, let us know and Katie can come out and do a TikTok feature on it. Or she could do a slow motion of somebody carving something. There's all kinds of ways to use social media and to get people engaged in your events. All these things are available whether you get a grant from us or not. So that's kind of the end of my formal presentation, and I kept time for everyone else and not myself. I think we're doing well. I do have copies of the grant form here, and I'm happy to answer questions, get feedback. Many of you have used our grant, Chris, I know you have. So, share what your experiences were, or I think we got a few less over here. So happy to answer questions.
So will you be in that marketing roundtable?
Yes, we may adjust our roundtables because we have a smaller audience, but yes, we will make sure that all of my team will be in there. Yep.
Okay, I just had several different questions. So
Good.
Do you still have any money for the photography, videography grant?
Very little, but I think we do have some money. Again, this year we did a photography, videography grant, so we know that marketing requires rich content, and I think we have less than $5,000 left in there. Again, if there's still demand, we might put some more money into that or to continue it again next year. Again, our goal is to help you guys succeed, so we have what I'd call pop-up grants that'll happen every now and then because we see there's a demand or a need for something like photography, videography. So I think we've got about 5,000 left. And there may be people who use less, so I probably won't know for another 30 or 45 days what we have left.
So apply fast.
Yes, apply fast. I would say that always apply early. And if you feel like, oh, I'm not sure I'm ready or my application isn't good enough, let us know. We'll help you out. We'll give you the red pen feedback on it. Yeah.
I know you said that there's monthly kind of push-outs to everything. Is there usually a cutoff for, like, let's say September by a certain time in August? And then same question for 2024. Because I know you do a monthly push, but there's also a whole yearly calendar that eventually goes out. When's the calendar cutoff for the big 2024 push?
Yeah. I would say, well, we try to get the events out for the whole year. We don't do a print calendar that's just one and done for the whole year. But I would say if we can have them by next year's events by November 1st, because we also feed those into other printed guides, the Department of Tourism
Yeah, I was thinking
printed
that,
guides.
especially with the state of Wisconsin.
Yeah, the
and
state of
everything.
Wisconsin guides. We push out all of our information to them. That's how they fill in their Janesville information. The Rock County Tourism Guide also, I think we need those by November 1st. And those all go to Sandy that you met on the way in. So you'll want to make sure that you get those to us. For the e-newsletter, we also would like about 4 weeks. And it happens all the time. People on the Friday before their Saturday event will call me and say, hey, get the word out. It's too late for the newsletter. It's too late. Katie programs her social media out about 4 weeks ahead of time. Always let us know. If you forgot, we'll do what we can. But ideally, the newsletter content, we need that about 4 weeks ahead of time. Because it just takes time for her to format it. And we send it out, we're not going to send out our August newsletter August 1st because there isn't the planning. We'll usually send it out the Monday of the week before that month starts.
And if we give you all the information, the best write-up and everything we have,
Yep.
links and everything by November 1st, do you need a different format and stuff for the monthly push out?
No, we would use all that. Again, it goes into our database. We have a great content management system that runs the back end of the website. Once we have it all in, we should be good. If they find that, well, gosh, we really need one more photo, we'll let you know. If Katie pulls it up and she's like, boy, I don't have enough photos, we'll let you know. But if you can get us everything November 1st, that's great. If you have content or things that come after that, it's okay to send it when we get it. But if you want to be in those newsletters, if you want to be featured, The more stuff you give us, the better chance you have for that. I mean, we'll try to chase you, but we get busy too, and sometimes it's easier to pull what we have great content for.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is it best to send that directly to Katie then?
It can go directly to Katie, or actually it should go directly to Sandy, because she's going to put it in the database, and then it's going to make sure you get everything. Katie does the social media, but there's so much more, the print calendar, all of that. And I think Sandy has cards out in front, but she should be your best friend, because not only is she managing the data, she's who you see when you walk in the door. And if you've ever worked with her from a customer service standpoint, she is amazing. And I would make sure that she comes to your events. If you want to, send somebody a ticket to get them engaged in your event, she's your girl, because she's talking to the walk-in visitors, she's training our volunteers at the visitor center, she's managing the back end of the database. I sign the checks, but my team is really the workhouse out there getting the stuff done, so you'll want to befriend all of them.
For the TV media for Janesville, is it a split between Madison and Rockford?
We see a stronger presence in Madison, and that's really a shift. When I started, we were seeing a lot of strength in the Rockford market, and I'm just not seeing as much there. Madison has really taken a strong interest in Janesville. The spots that I do, I don't pay for those. They said, we want to have a bigger Janesville presence, so I'm there every month, doing those live news spots. They also will come down to your events quite frequently. Now, we'll need to get a good media release for all of your events if you want them to come, but they will come down. They were here on the Lincoln Tillman House grounds prior to the Tillman Arts Festival doing their 5 o'clock news live from there. That's where it's nice. If you can think of anything that's super cool about your event a couple days before, your event is amazing, but if they come and do a story about your event at your event, it's hard to drive the attendance because it's already happening. If you're a 2-day event, you might get a bump. But if there's some super cool part of your setup, that's really nice to know, because then you can get the media there, whether it's a dress rehearsal, it's some reason to get them there. For the rodeo, it was unloading the animals. Whatever you can do to build excitement a couple days ahead of time, that's a little bit better. Having the event is fine, but it's not building your traffic and getting that earned media that we talk about. But we see great presence from Channel 15 and 27. Channel 3 did have a newsroom here in Madison. I don't believe they do anymore. There's a lot of change. But a couple of the stations, Tim Elliott on Channel 15 is from Janesville originally, so that always helps us out too, because he talks about what he did when he was a kid here. So befriend all those personalities, follow them, pay attention to them. Yeah.
Just being in this area, knowing, hey, Rock, you're in,
Yeah.
I'm in Delavan, so I get all the Milwaukee stuff.
Yeah, and we used to see a lot more Rockford than we do, and I don't know if it's just bandwidth for them, but we don't see as much Rockford as we used to. We used to see even Rockford-Madison coverage. We're just not finding that anymore. Yeah. All right, I think we're ready to swap. I'm getting the hook, so time to switch rooms and do a little bit more, and then we'll have a really good networking session at the end to talk amongst yourselves, because you guys really are the experts.